today my video is going to be on the Ryobi R161, and the table is an RT101. The reason I'm making this video is because this morning I was reading the instruction manual on how to adjust the zero ring, and it was quite frustrating, and I searched on YouTube for a video, so I decided to make a video for those people that are just weekend project makers like myself. All I needed was to route this piece of wood earlier, which turned out bad, but that's a whole different story. It's the wrong size anyways. So with that, this is the router, typical router that you see at a store. Nothing fancy, just a regular one. So what I'm going to do is show you how to set this to zero and how to use the gauge down below. So right now the current configuration that this is set in is for the table mounting, but if you flip it upside down, this will be the traditional way most people hold it. So I will go ahead and explain the traditional way and use that method instead. So the first thing you want to do is, as you can see, my piece is already, my router bit is already installed. I'm going to go ahead and back that up. Oh, first thing is there's a locking and an unlocking mechanism in the back. What you want to do is take it to the unlock position, which it's in right now, and go ahead and adjust your the depth. And what you want to do is take this, draw an imaginary plane surface right here, and you want to back this up till you can't see it, recess it till you can't see it no more. Alright, that's pretty close right there. So what you want to do is take your piece of wood. So what you want to do is take this piece of wood, or a surface, it doesn't matter what, and here, so you can see inside what's going on. Right now it's contacting the surface, so what I want to do is just keep backing it up. Okay, there it is. Right now it's a little bit off the surface, and I want to do is take it, press it right against the surface. Right there, that's flush with it. So what you need to look at, now I'm going to spin the machine around so you can see what's going on up here. Up here on this ring, there's a bunch of gauges or sizes. And what you need to do is align this arrow, which is right here, which is right here, right here. You got that in the video? Yeah. Okay. You got to take this arrow and line it up with the zero. Now the issue is that they don't explain in the manual is how to get to zero. Well, this is what you need to do, is hold this black ring and spin, which doesn't spin freely, and spin the orange gauge to zero, and then you go back over here, ensure that the router bit is not touching the wood, but it's just right above it. So therefore now it's set to zero. Once you are complete, you go ahead and lock it in the back. Go to the up, which is lock, and it's locked into position. Now you are set for routing and the different depths. Now as far as how deep does it go after a full rotation, that is 1/4 of an inch. Every time that it rotates all the way through is 1/4 of an inch. So that's how you do that. Now the next thing I'm going to show you is how to mount it on the table, which is a little bit different, similar but different, and you'll see here in a second. So I'm going to go ahead and mount this to the bottom. It's got 3 holes, 3 screws. Even though the surface shows 4, there's only 3 places you can put the screws, therefore you can't put it in backwards. It's a pretty smart design. Okay, give it a couple of shakes, make sure the bolts are tight. It looks pretty tight, it feels tight. So the next thing you want to do is, again, go to the back side and put it unlocked, just like so. ensure that this is unlocked. Now it's locked, so now that moves a little bit more freely. Take your adjustment ring and drive the bit to the very top, as you can see right here. The bit will be raising here in a second. Should pop over the edge. That looks like it's right at the edge. So I want to take a piece of wood, just drop it right there. Alright, I'm going to keep raising. I'm going to keep raising as you see the wood just climbed. Right there. It looks like it's barely touching it. Alright, now what you need to do is, now that we got it set to 0, you come back down here and you see the ring. Now, in the previous section about doing it the traditional way, the arrow indicator is over here on the underside now. But what you need to use is now this as your gauge. What you need to do now is turn the upper ring, the upper orange, and line it up with the 0. That's so. Right there. Set the 0. And now you are complete. And ensure you lock it in the back. It's locked, and now you are set. And again, as a reminder, every time you turn this around, this circle, once you start going up and down on these gauges, actually, if you're gonna unlock and then set the desired depth that you want. Keep messing that up. Here's 1/8, and if you do a full circle, there's 1/4. So right there, the bit has already gone 1/4 of an inch up, and so on and so on. So you're already at plus 1/4. There's another 1/8. And that's it. That's all it wants to go. It didn't give me a full 1/2 inch, but at this point, since I'm limited to how far this thing goes, if you wanted to go any deeper, what you would need to do is actually break the collar loose on the bit and raise it just a little bit, but make sure you remain somewhat attached to the machine. Don't go too far and use the very tip of the bit. You want to have at least maybe a 1/4 of an inch of the tip inside of the router itself at a minimum. Even though I had no idea how much is required to be safe, but yeah, a 1/4 of an inch should do the trick. I'm no doctor, but anyways, that's my video on how to adjust the Ryobi router with the table. Enjoy.